Do you feel that the packet size of everything you buy is shrinking? Shrinkflation is a situation where the price of a product remains the same but the size of the product shrinks. Hello and welcome. I am Aishi from Clear, India's largest tax and financial services platform. At Clear, we have assisted more than 6 million tax filers so far. If you have not already, do subscribe to our channel to support us. Let's get started. But first, what is shrinkflation? Shrink and inflation or shrinkflation was coined by the British economist Pippa Malmgren in 2009. Shrinkflation is when the size of a product reduces and the price remains constant. If the size of a product shrinks while its price remains the same, it means the price of the product has increased. Businesses follow this approach if they do not want to go for an immediate price hike in their products. However, in reality, the price of the product has gone up and you have become a victim of inflation. For instance, suppose a company sells 50 grams of chocolate for Rs 30. It may continue to sell the chocolate for Rs 30 but reduce the size by 5 grams to 45 grams called shrinkflation. Shrinkflation is commonly observed in the food and beverage industry, but it could occur in any industry. For instance, the FMCG industry in India is downsizing product packets while keeping the price unchanged because of the rising raw material costs. It is because the Russia-Ukraine war has made most things costly worldwide, which has resulted in soaring inflation in India. Why do companies go for shrinkflation? Companies follow the shrinkflation approach because they are reluctant to raise the prices of their products despite the rising raw material and labor costs. Consumers may be sensitive to increasing costs of products and could shift their preferences to products of companies which maintain prices despite inflation. Companies that resort to shrinkflation hope that the customers will not notice the reduction in quantity at first glance. For instance, several top companies such as Nestle, Hindustan Lever, Coca-Cola, P&G and Dabur have resorted to shrinkflation to retain their customers. Moreover, Haldiram has reduced the weight of aloo bhujia packets from 55 grams to 42 grams and Nestle has reduced the weight of Maggi from 80 grams to 55 grams. Here is a table showing why manufacturers resort to shrinkflation. Manufacturers are facing problems such as increasing raw material, energy, commodity and labor costs due to rising worldwide inflation because of the Russia-Ukraine crisis. Reducing the weight, volume or quantity of the product while retaining the same price tag helps producers improve their profit margins. Parle products, which makes Parle-G and hide and seek biscuits, get 70% of its revenue from Rs 10 packets and below. As the company faces intense competition from rivals, it cannot hike prices as it would lose its dominant market position. So the company follows the shrinkflation approach to retain customers and maintain profits. You may not notice shrinkflation because a few potato chips less in the packet may not bother you. The reality is that you are paying the same price for less of an item. You may not feel the pinch of shrinkflation as inflation because it's a sneaky strategy as businesses use the same packaging but give you less of the product. However, you may feel aggrieved as you believe that this is a strategy to deceive you. You can avoid shrinkflation if you pay attention to the unit price of the product you are paying for and compare the cost per product among competing brands. If you feel shortchanged by a particular brand or product because of shrinkflation, then you may shift loyalty to a similar product but at the value you previously enjoyed. As many FMCG firms resort to shrinkflation, you may find a lesser quantity of toothpaste in the toothpaste tube or lesser ice cream in the ice cream carton. Companies may resort to shrinkflation through clever packaging. For instance, curved sides and hollowed bottoms are common product packaging modifications to make you pay more for the less of the product. Shrinkflation is hidden inflation which is not easily visible to you. However, it creeps into your consumption basket one cut at a time. Here is the table showing the disadvantages of shrinkflation. Shrinkflation leads to hidden inflation as you are paying more for less of a product or item. Manufacturers resort to shrinkflation because of rising inflation, but customers may feel cheated by this practice. Companies may shrink their product size in order to undercut the prices of their competitors. This can lead to a race to the bottom, which is not good for consumers and companies. Try this example to see if you understand shrinkflation. Take a careful look at the noodles packet you have just purchased and compare it with the packet of the previous years. You may find most things the same with the noodles packet, including the price. What you may miss is the quantity of noodles in the packet. The 100-gram noodles packet may have been reduced to 70 grams even though the price remains the same. It is shrinkflation that manufacturers follow to beat raising costs and protect their profit margins. I hope by now you have understood what shrinkflation is and how it impacts you. If yes, write clear in the comments below or drop your questions if any. Stay with me to know how inflation impacts your investments. Just as shrinkflation makes you pay more for less of an item, inflation eats up the returns you get from your investments. It is the increase in the price of goods and services over time. You must understand the real rate of return to know the actual returns you get from your investments. It is the annual rate of return gained from an investment after adjusting for inflation. However, the nominal rate of return is the return from an investment before accounting for inflation and taxes. Rate of return is equal to 1 plus nominal rate divided by 1 plus inflation rate minus 1. Let's understand the real rate of return from an investment with an example. Suppose you invest in a bank fixed deposit which offers an interest rate of 7% per annum. However, the inflation rate prevailing yearly is 5%. Using the formula for real rate of return, you get a return of around 2% per annum from your investment as inflation has eaten up the rest of your returns. Rate of return is equal to 1 plus 0.07 divided by 1 plus 0.05 minus 1 is equal to 1.9%. You may get even lower returns from your investments if you fall in the higher income tax brackets as taxes eat up your returns. You must focus on inflation beating returns from your investments over time and after tax returns from the investment. Why should you not ignore equity investments? You must consider your risk tolerance before investing in any financial instrument. It is the amount of loss you are prepared to handle with your investments. While investing in any financial instrument, losses may put you in a financial crisis if you take more risk than you can afford. Consequently, if you are risk averse, you may not get sufficient returns from your investments to achieve vital financial goals. It is because inflation eats up the returns from your investments and it's crucial to maintain a balanced amount of risk when investing. You may choose an investment depending on your age, return expectations and the amount of risk you can handle to achieve your financial goals at the right time. Equity is an asset class that could offer inflation-beating returns over time and help you reach your vital financial goals provided you have higher risk tolerance. Let's understand the importance of after-tax returns from investments with an example. Suppose a bank offers an interest of 6% per annum on fixed deposits. As bank FD interest is added to your taxable income, you get an after-tax return of 4.2% per annum if you fall in the highest income tax bracket of 30%. However, if average inflation is 5% per annum, you face wealth erosion instead of wealth creation. Regarding equity investments, long-term capital gains are tax exempt up to Rs 1 lakh per financial year. Moreover, long-term capital gains from equity above this limit are taxed at 10% and short-term capital gains are taxed at 15%. It makes equity investments more tax efficient than bank fixed deposits. You may consider the impact of inflation and after-tax returns before choosing an investment. It helps you maximize return on investment and get to financial goals faster. Thank you for watching this video. Please comment below if you have any queries related to investment and taxes and we will address them as soon as possible. Stay tuned for more updates and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for finance related content. Take care and goodbye.